Man, I hate to say this, but I was wrong. I was wrong about Zizi Kodwa. I remember the last time I spoke about Zizi Kodwa, I said the man is not going to resign as the member of parliament. This is despite him being sworn in as the member of parliament while he is attending the corruption case. I said the man is not going to resign, and I was wrong.
Story, the African National Congress has confirmed the resignation of Zizi Kodwa as a member of parliament. Kodwa was recently sworn in despite facing allegations of corruption linked to state capture. He's accused of accepting a 1.7 million rand bribe during his time as the Deputy Minister of State Security.
And guys, to be honest, this whole step aside of the ANC, it is a joke. You look at Zizi Kodwa and the fact that Zizi Kodwa has been pushed out, because this is what happened here. Zizi Kodwa has been pushed out because if Zizi Kodwa didn't want to be the member of parliament, there is no way he could have went to parliament to be sworn in as the member of parliament. If he didn't want to be the member of parliament and wanted to deal with this matter of corruption, that's what he would have done. But the fact that he went to Cape Town to be sworn in as the member of parliament only for him to resign, it tells you that Zizi Kodwa has been pushed out. This is the reason why I'm saying the step aside rule of the ANC, it is a joke. Because clearly, this rule is not being applied equally within the ANC. Looking from the outside, it looks like this whole step aside rule, it has been implemented to deal with Ramaphosa's detractors. If you are against Ramaphosa in any way, they're going to find something against you, you're going to be charged, and you will be forced to step aside. But it doesn't mean that the ANC is serious about dealing with corruption, because this is what the ANC does when it comes to matters like this. You will see the representative of the ANC will be out pretending like the ANC is dealing decisively with corruption. But this is not what they are doing. This is not what they are doing. It is a joke. Because can you imagine if this rule was applied equally within the ANC? Can you imagine how many cadres would be forced to step aside today? Zizi Kodwa has been accused of corruption. He has been accused of accepting bribes. Of course, he has been charged. But at the same time, you have the people that are working with Ramaphosa, the same people that have been accused of corruption, the same people that have accused of accepting bribes. You're talking about Nomvula Mkonyane, you're talking about Gudemantashe, and so on and so on. And nothing happens with these people. And the ANC will come out and say, no, if you are not charged, then the ANC cannot force you to step aside. But even that looks like it's politically motivated. For someone to be charged within the ANC, it looks like it happens politically. It is not something that the NPA does because they have, this person is corrupt and we have to deal with this person. Clearly, the NPA is in the palm of the ANC. So the NPA right now, it looks like it has been used by the ANC to go against the people that ANC wants it to go against, not the people that are corrupt. This whole thing is a joke. Because if this was the standard, many cadres within the ANC would be forced to step aside. Many cadres within the ANC would not be working in government. These people will not be working with Ramaphosa, but they still work in government and they're still working with the president. It is a joke. And again, man, this is the reason why the ANC continues to self-destruct because of issues like this. If you want to deal with corruption, if you want to root out the corrupt people within the party, just let the NPA do its work. Let the NPA do its work and go against everyone. But this is not what's happening within the ANC. People were accused of corruption live on national television. People were accused of accepting bribes live on national television, but those people are still in government as we speak today. And we are supposed to sit here and actually believe that the ANC is dealing decisively with corruption. Give me a break, man.
He served as the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture from March 2023 until June this year. The ANC says it has accepted his resignation and wishes him well. ANC Veterans League President Snuki Zikalala joins us now to discuss this latest development. A very good afternoon to you, Dr. Zikalala. Thanks very much for your time. The question many asked when he went back to Parliament and was the only ANC MP to be sworn in alongside MK Party MPs who, of course, had decided to boycott the initial swearing in of MP. The question many people asked was, what had happened? Why did he decide to go back and be sworn in the first instance when he had decided to step back?
Well, we're really angry ourselves as veterans that he went to Cape Town, he got sworn in, because he was one of those who stepped aside immediately when he was criminally charged. And of course, we raised the matter with the SG. The SG said it will be attended to. And as you know, that time when he went in and got sworn in, the media ridiculed us, to say that the ANC is not serious about corruption. And of course, I think it's one of the things that made us not to get 51%, one of the things that made us not to get 51% or 55%, because people thought that we're not serious about corruption. And so we welcome his resignation. And at the same time, we are saying those other comrades who have been indicted and those who have been fingered in state capture, who were sworn in Parliament, must do likewise. Because the Integrity Commission have...
But it looks like there is no pressure to actually push these people out. The same pressure that Zizi Kodwa endured. It looks like there was no pressure to actually push these people out. Because in the words of the ANC Veterans League president, he admits that there are people that were fingered that are sitting in Parliament enjoying the Parliament benefits. He admits that there are people within the ANC that are still drawing the salary that has been paid by the taxpayers, and these people have been accused of corruption. And he's urging them to do likewise. Why should people actually give up on the government benefits? Why should people give up on the Member of Parliament benefits when there is no pressure to actually push them out? There's no pressure to push them out. And again, this is the reason why the party will continue to suffer. This is the reason why the party will continue to suffer. Because you are not serious to deal with this matter. If you know that there are people that were fingered in Parliament, as the ANC, you were never supposed to send those people to Parliament to start with. Those people were never supposed to make the parliamentary list. But they did, and they are in Parliament. And today you are in TV, and you are urging them to do what Zizi Kodwa did. These people are unbelievable, man.
Who have been indicted and those who have been fingered in state capture, who were sworn in Parliament, must do likewise. Because the Integrity Commission have found two of them, that is Comrade Zizi Kodwa, another comrade, one thing they're supposed to go to a DC, and another two were supposed to appear in front of a DC. And we want all those who are implicated in state capture, they must also resign, because it's important for the sake of the organization, for the integrity of the organization, for the dignity of the organization.
So you're telling me that you would send people to Parliament, and when they get to Parliament, you would actually ask them to resign because they were implicated in state capture? Guys, can you tell me in which world this actually makes sense? Sending people to Parliament, and when they get to Parliament, you are actually asking them to resign because they were implicated in state capture. Why did you put them in the parliamentary list to start with? This is one thing that doesn't make sense to me.
because our people must see that the ANC should not and will not tolerate people who abuse state resources and who get involved in corruption within government. And so we welcome the resignation of Comrade Zizi, and we are saying that others who are implicated in state capture and we are now supposed to go to a disciplinary hearing by the ANC, they should do likewise.
Well, the political journalist that I am and the former head of news that you are as well, I'm sure both of us would find common ground in at least suspecting that someone would have paved the way for him to return and be sworn in long after other ANC MPs were sworn in.
Yeah, as veterans, we did ask the question that why was he in? And so we heard that there were instructions, we don't know by whom, that he should be sworn in. And so we're still investigating that because it's unacceptable. And so we are saying that those who have been sworn in now and who are implicated in state capture and who have been fingered by the disciplinary committee that they should appear in front of the disciplinary committee of the ANC should do likewise. And so we as veterans will not allow that to happen because the integrity and the dignity of the ANC is very, very important.
Could it be then whoever may have instructed someone to push him through then changed their minds for whatever reason and they leaned on him again to step aside?
Yeah, that's what we think because the SG has written a letter to 4 of the comrades who were implicated in state capture, saying that they must be taken to a DC. That happened about 2 weeks ago. And so I'm sure when they received that message that they are going to be taken to a DC, he then decided to step aside, to resign as member of parliament because pressure has been put on them. Pressure has been put on us by society that we should cleanse the ANC. We should make sure that those who are in parliament are honorable members, not members who are dishonorable. And so we as veterans will make sure that we bring back the integrity and dignity of the organization. We won't relent until that is done.
And guys, so do you believe that the Veterans League is actually working to restore the dignity of the ANC? Are these people working to restore the dignity of the ANC? And will the dignity of the ANC ever be restored? I guess this is the question, man, like that I'm asking. Like, will the dignity of the ANC will it ever be restored? Because I remember the last time Thabo Mbeki was speaking about the ANC, and he said one of the reasons why the ANC is where it is today is because for years the organizations was joined by people who are not interested to saving the people of this country. The organization has been joined by people that want to get on a gravy train. This has been happening for years. This is what Thabo Mbeki said. That if the ANC really wants to go through a renewal process, they're going to have to really take people out. But it looks like this is not what has been happening. This is despite Ramaphosa in 2019 when he was elected as the president of the country, telling South Africans how much he's going to deal with the corrupt members, telling people that we are not going to stand for corrupt individuals. But even the president himself today, he has his own issues with the Palapal. He has his own issues with the Palapal.
Well, the statement by the ANC, which is again in the same way that initially, he was made a hero, sort of makes light of this latest move. It's very different to everything that you as veterans stand for and which you've just articulated.
Well, I think the statement says it all because the SG says that he accepts his resignation. That's the SG, and we appreciate that. And so we want the SG to make sure that the other comrades who are implicated in state capture must do the same. And we have confidence in the SG of the ANC that he'll definitely put pressure on them, because we do meet frequently with him and we raise these issues sharply with the SG. And our SG appreciates that we understand what is happening in the organization, and appreciates that we don't go outside the ANC and criticize the ANC. We criticize internally, because that's where we belong. And I'm sure those others who are facing state capture allegations, they must also read the message that it's high time for them to resign as well.
But then wouldn't the ANC, I mean the SG in particular, as the man who runs the ANC, should he not be as forthright as you have been over the past few minutes that you and I have been talking, precisely to send that very strong message to all and sundry that this is something that is not going to be tolerated? But anyone who reads this statement as it is almost feels like, you know, once again, he is being praised for doing the right thing, and all the ANC had to do was to accept, you know.
Yeah, now that the SG in the statement which I'm having here, it does not praise Zizi Kodwa. He says he accepts his resignation.
Yeah.
And so that's all, and wishes him well. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. And so we wish him well. He must vindicate himself because he's facing a trial. And so we wish him well. Let him get vindicated. If he gets vindicated, then he can come back into the ANC, because he cleared his name. And so all that we are saying is that the SG has already written a letter to say the others who are implicated in state capture must appear in front of the DC, and that is going to happen. And so we are saying that we'll see more of those, because state capture denied our people of quality education, denied our people of getting rid of pit latrine toilets, it denied our people of economic growth in the country, it denied our children of getting health care, quality health care. And so it cannot be ignored as such. And so we as veterans, we are saying that all those implicated in state capture must face the might of the law.
Man, guys, I don't want to lie, man. I don't believe that the ANC is serious to deal with the matters of corruption. I honestly don't believe that they are serious to deal with corruption. I don't think that they even want to deal with corruption. This is what it looks like to me. The fact that there hasn't been a proper sweep within the ANC, it tells us that, like, these people, man, are just doing this to try to look to the public as if they are doing something about corruption, whereas they are not doing anything about corruption. They are not. They are not. You have the tenderpreneurs that have destroyed the municipalities. Or what happened with those tenderpreneurs of the ANC? Nothing has been done against those people. Nothing has been done. You have people that were accused in state capture. You have people that were named and shamed live on television during the state capture commission. How many of those people are actually dragged to the courts like Zizi Kodwa? That's why I'm saying even people being charged within the ANC, it looks like it's done politically. People are not being charged because they did something wrong. People are being charged because some people are being charged maybe because they pissed off the higher ups in the ANC, or they pissed off Ramaphosa, but not because these people have actually done something wrong and they're going to need to answer for it. I honestly don't believe that the ANC is serious about dealing with the corruption, man. I don't. This is why the last time I was speaking about the new ministers in the government of national unity, while they are busy exposing the rot, how long is it going to take before ANC actually strikes back? Because they are exposing right now. Wait until they get to exposing the real people who have been destroying this government department. That's when you're going to see the pushback. You see Gayton McKenzie, yeah, it's fine. Gayton McKenzie can come. He can release the names of the people that benefited from sports, art and culture. He can release this, he can release that. Wait until he gets to the government officials that actually benefited from this department. That's when you're going to see the real pushback. Of course, Dean McPherson, you can expose corruption in the infrastructure and in the what is this public works and infrastructure portfolio. You can tell us about the 300 million that you have uncovered in 10 days. Just wait until you get to the people that were facilitating those funds. That's when you're going to get the real pushback. The same thing with Home Affairs. The same thing with the Department of Basic Education. So we will see how serious the ANC is about dealing with corruption. Because right now, this is the only thing that can actually bring the ANC back, not even good governance. The ANC dealing with corruption, dealing with the people that were destroying the name of the movement, dealing with the people that were looting the state funds. This is how people are actually going to vote for them. Not even good governance right now is going to save the ANC. This is one thing they need to understand. That rooting out the people that were destroying the government, rooting out the people that were destroying the name of the ANC, this is the only way the ANC is going to be able to get their votes back. Until the ANC starts to get serious about corruption, people will always look at the ANC as a corrupt organization. This is how people will always look at the ANC. This is how the people will always look at the ANC. It doesn't matter how good they govern. People will always say that this is a corrupt government. This is a corrupt political party. And now it's starting to pretending like it wants to govern good, because you have other political parties in the government of national unity. But you guys yourselves, you have failed to govern good for the past 30 years. You were arrogant, you were looting the state funds, and you were telling the people, you were not even ashamed to tell the people that you are here to eat. You remember some of those ANC members telling the South Africans that if their rent drops, we will pick it up. You remember Nomvula Mkwenyane? If the rent drops, we will pick it up. This is the same woman who has been accused. You remember Angelo Agrizi telling us about Nomvula Mkwenyane, how the drug of Busasa would actually stop in front of the house of Nomvula Mkwenyane. She would get the meat, she would get the everything from Busasa. Her children would be taken to universities by Busasa. The cars that they drive were bought by the money that came from Busasa. Like, these are the things that we actually heard on the state capture. But today, Nomvula Mkwenyane is the second secretary general of the ANC, and she's doing the interviews as if everything is fine, as if we never heard explosive things about her. So until the ANC gets rid of those people, man, there is absolutely no way the ANC is going to be able to gain people's trust. This is the only way they're going to be able to gain people's trust, by actually going against the people that were destroying the movement. So going around and putting Zizi Kodwa out there, putting Mapisa Ngakula out there, and saying, yeah, we are dealing with corruption, whereas you have the tenderpreneurs, you have the construction guys, you have all of these people, man, that have benefited billions and billions of state funds for doing nothing. Until you go against those people, until you go after those people, then you haven't done anything. You haven't done anything. Me, I believe that, man, if we could actually get a president of the ANC, the president who actually wants to deal with corruption, man, many people within the ANC would be kicked out. Many people without the ANC would be dragged to the courts to defend themselves. How long has it been since Zondo gave Ramaphosa those files and say, yeah, Ramaphosa, these are the people that you are supposed to prosecute. These are the people that the NPA is supposed to prosecute. When was the last time? How long has it been since Zondo formally gave Ramaphosa the report of the state capture? Those papers right now, they are gathering dust somewhere in Luthuli House. They are gathering dust somewhere in Luthuli House. And they are using it to go against people who don't want them. Maybe Zizi Kodwa was starting to run his mouth. And they said, no, we're going to have to deal with you. You remember? This is what was said about you. NPA, please do something about Zizi Kodwa. Zizi Kodwa is corrupt. It looks like this is how those records are actually being used right now. So this is why I'm saying, man, I don't believe that the ANC is serious about dealing with corruption. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Guys, please tell me what you think. Go to the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.